From the University of South Carolina, your news, your sports, your weather. Carolina News begins now.
Hello and welcome to the Carolina News FastCast. I'm Mercy Myers coming to you from my room here in Columbia, South Carolina. Our newsroom is spread out across the country ever since the coronavirus caused USC's campus to close, but we're still working to deliver the stories that matter to you. Here are the newest coronavirus numbers as of yesterday, April 8th. According to the CDC, the United States currently has 395,011 cases and 12,754 deaths. As of now, the state of South Carolina has 2,552 confirmed positive cases of COVID-19 and 63 deaths. Yesterday showed the highest single-day death toll so far in the state with 12. And coronavirus is disproportionately affecting African Americans in some states around the U.S. According to Dr. Fauci, the reason being more underlying health issues such as asthma and diabetes, as well as being more likely to work hands-on jobs. In South Carolina, 46% of COVID-related deaths are African Americans, but they make up only 27% of the state population. There's been similar numbers reported in other states like Louisiana and Illinois. Dr. Jerome Adams and American Medical Association President Dr. Patrice Harris have suggested that states begin to keep record of the race and ethnicity of coronavirus cases. The National Guard is helping local hospitals prepare for the peak of the coronavirus pandemic that is expected to hit in May. The hospital surge plan is in 3 tiers. The third tier supports hospitals that are already providing critical care. The first and second tier will be new sites around South Carolina that will quarantine and care for those with less severe symptoms. The plan is to have these new beds by the beginning of May. The National Guard has also delivered personal protective equipment that was received from the Strategic National Stockpile to all 46 counties. And to assist in the fight against COVID-19, the South Carolina Department of Transportation is turning a former hotel into a potential field hospital. What once was the Wood Springs Hotel is part of the Governor's Hospital Surge Plan and will serve as a Tier 1 site. The makeshift hospital is located at the interchange of Two Notch Road and I-20. With many people laid off or furloughed amid the coronavirus pandemic, unemployment rates in the U.S. have skyrocketed. Another wave of 6.6 million Americans filed first-time unemployment claims, bringing the total to 16 million in the past 3 weeks. South Carolina lawmakers met in Columbia Wednesday to hold what was supposed to be a quick meeting to pass emergency measures. However, debate broke out over the state budget due to a provision that would prevent Santee Cooper from entering into new contracts longer than a year. The state government can operate past July 1st without a new budget, but since an agreement wasn't reached, the House will be forced to return. At this time, a date has not been set. And Senator Bernie Sanders announced yesterday morning his decision to suspend his campaign for the 2020 presidential race, clearing the way for former Vice President Joe Biden to become the Democratic Party's nominee. Our Phoebe Murray had a chance to speak with a member of Biden's communication team and has more on how the race to the White House has gone virtual in the midst of the coronavirus pandemic.
I congratulate Joe Biden, a very decent man, who I will work with to move our progressive ideas forward.
Moving forward in the midst of a global crisis, an election year for the first time in history entirely virtual for the foreseeable future. Part of Joe Biden's communications team, Paige Hill, says with voting during this coronavirus pandemic, safety comes first.
I think that it is very important that voters should not have to choose between their health and their civic duty.
16 states and 1 territory have either pushed back their presidential primaries or switched to voting by mail with extended deadlines. Biden's sweeping win over Sanders in the Democratic primary here in South Carolina has proven to be pivotal for his now virtual race to the White House. With stay-at-homes in effect across the country, Biden has taken to Twitter, Instagram, and TV from his home in Delaware to continue campaigning. Hill says they're doing the same work they were before, just without the face-to-face connection.
When the events are online, where it's allowed us to reach even more people than we would have before, because folks are able to join from the comfort of their homes.
With Sanders out of the race, they're shifting focus from the primaries to the general election, while also juggling working from home.
Kind of walking and chewing gum at the same time.
A time and election season that will go down in history. Phoebe Murray, Carolina News.
The Democratic National Committee has also rescheduled the party's national convention from mid-July to mid-August, which could still very well be online. Now, we've been experiencing plenty of warm weather in Columbia lately, but by tomorrow we might be experiencing some cooler temperatures. Mike Olson is in Ellicott City, Maryland, and has the full weather forecast for us. Mike?
Thanks, Mercy. I'm here in my backyard in Ellicott City, Maryland, where last night we experienced a little bit of rainfall that's brought cooler temperatures today. We're in the mid-50s today, but that's not the case in the Palmetto State. It's a beautiful sunny day with highs reaching the mid-80s, so if you can get outside, make sure to enjoy that weather. But it's not going to be sticking around. If we look at tonight's lows, there's a cold front coming in that's going to bring temperatures down to the mid-50s in Columbia, down to 50 in the upstate, but temperatures will be a little bit warmer along the coast from the upper 50s into the lower 60s in Hilton Head. Looking at tomorrow's highs, as I mentioned, that cold front knocking temperatures down significantly. 64 degrees in Columbia, 62 in Greenville, and 60 in Rock Hill. Along the coast, again, warmer temperatures, 67 in Charleston, up to 69 in Hilton Head. Now if we go ahead and look at our 5-day forecast, as I mentioned, tomorrow a high of 64 degrees, low 41, partly cloudy. And then we have a beautiful sunny day on Saturday, temperatures reaching up to 69 degrees. Take the dog for a walk if you get the chance. It's going to be a beautiful day for that. But on Sunday, that's all changing. We have rain coming in, a high of 69, low of 66, and that rain's going to continue on into Monday morning with highs of 81 and a low of 54. Tuesday, everything should be evening out. Partly cloudy, high of 72 and a low of 51. That's all I have for your weather today, but we hope you all stay safe, happy, and healthy wherever you are. Back to you, Mercy.
Thanks, Mike. The University of South Carolina made an official announcement last week that classes will be taught online only through the beginning of August. This gives rise to challenges for USC students who are shifting their plans while an empty campus awaits their return. Reporter Chloe Rafferty has more.
That's right. Pathways that used to be filled with students walking to class are now empty. As the campus sits here with hardly any students, some students and their plans have been uprooted. Right now, there's barely any sign of life on USC's campus as students are scattered around the country amid the coronavirus pandemic.
It's definitely not what I would have chosen for my freshman year.
Freshman public health major Ashley Thurber wishes her first school year didn't have such an abrupt ending. And she's even reconsidering her career choice because of the situation.
I thought for a little bit that I wanted to go into infectious disease. And then seeing this is just a little too scary for me to work through.
Sophomore global studies major Megan Singleton also had to make some big decisions, which included canceling her study abroad for the fall semester. If she was going to be abroad for all of her junior year, she wouldn't be back on campus until she becomes a senior.
The idea of my last semester at Carolina before senior year getting cut short, I couldn't bear it.
Megan, like many other students, had to make decisions quickly in a short time period.
The fact that life just essentially stopped.
And while life stopped on campus, it's just about to begin for graduating senior Dan Biggins.
It stinks because it felt like everything was finally coming together, at least for me.
Dan's internship with Congressman James Clyburn got canceled in the middle of his search for a job. He describes his situation as surreal and wishes he could come back to campus.
I didn't get to appreciate leaving USC because I didn't think it was going to be my last time. So I was already at home finding out that I wouldn't be going back for classes ever.
And while many students won't be, most are waiting for the day they can come back to their home at Carolina. The coronavirus is impacting Gamecocks from all over as they navigate their next steps to get back here at USC. Reporting in Columbia, South Carolina, Chloe Rafferty, Carolina News.
Another empty campus, Benedict College, is now offering online, non-accredited courses for business professionals. Available courses include digital marketing, cybersecurity, and supply chain management, with others being offered at a discounted rate. No admission or application is required, and the program will last until June 1st. Going to the dentist is usually something that happens a couple times a year for the average person. The COVID-19 pandemic has caused many dental practices to temporarily close their doors. Some people have to cancel their appointments except for in emergency cases. Reporter Corey Michael Peeler has more on how a local college student found herself in one of those emergency cases.
22-year-old Katherine Kirkland may be smiling right now, but only days ago that frown was turned upside down. She had to make an emergency trip to the dentist after a fall last weekend.
It's like I went to do a push-up kind of, and there was water. And that's when I slid and just ate the ground. My face caught the ground.
Resulting in breaking her 2 front teeth.
The pieces, there was only 2 pieces. And it was half of this tooth that fell out. Because this one pretty much broke in half.
A pain she has never experienced in her life.
It wouldn't hurt. If you chipped your tooth, yeah, it would hurt. But when you break it at the nerve, that's you can't talk without putting your tongue to your front teeth.
She posted about her experience on the popular TikTok app that now has thousands of views. Instead of making new teeth, her dentist was able to reattach the pieces of her broken teeth.
And then I realized it really was just a freak accident. Who would have known?
According to Kirkland, her dentist was the only one in the office while she was getting her teeth fixed. That's because many dental assistants and hygienists have been laid off due to heavily reduced patient intake.
My sister, April Peeler, was recently laid off from her job as a dental assistant in Charlotte. Like millions of other Americans, she's had to file for unemployment.
It's been tough for sure, because we don't know when we'll be going back to work, and then if we'll be going back at all.
The American Dental Association released a statement strongly recommending that practices postpone all elective procedures until the end of April. The unknown of the future is what makes Peeler nervous.
Worrying about finances is another thing altogether because, people still have to pay their bills.
At the beginning of the week, both Kirkland and Peeler had lost their smiles. Kirkland was able to pick up the pieces and reclaim her smile. As for my sister, she's confident her smile will return once the chaos of COVID-19 slowly fades away. For Carolina News, I'm Corey Michael Peeler.
While most healthcare appointments have been reduced, if you find yourself in an emergency medical situation, your doctor can still see you. Any young women who are planning to impress the judges at this year's Miss SC pageant with their best smile will have to wait. This year's competition has been moved to July. The live telecast that was originally scheduled for June 27th will now air August 1st. The South Carolina DMV is closing offices in the state and switching to an online reservation system. The DMV will determine which days offices will be open, keeping at least one open in every county. Those with the most traffic will be open on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Appointments can be made 2 weeks in advance, and an employee will try to reach out and notify customers of which documents will be needed. A link to the reservation system is available on scdmvonline.com. And for those of you without internet access, appointments can be made by phone at 803-896-5000. For college football fans, spring marks the beginning of the season. Since the coronavirus put the NCAA on hold, coaches are coming up with plans to get their athletes ready for the fall, virtually. With more details on how this works, we have Leanna Lamasella in Toms River, New Jersey. Leanna?
Thanks, Mercy. Will Muschamp spoke in a teleconference for the first time since the season was cut short due to COVID-19. Although the pandemic is keeping them away from the field for now, they have no doubt that the upcoming season is going to start on time. Muschamp said he speaks to the players 4 hours a week on video chat with text message updates every day. Him and his staff members are doing everything they can to keep up the players' mental health and help them get into a rhythm while at home. This also includes workout-based plans on what the players have access to at home. Muschamp says he is preparing his team and staff as if the college football season will start on time. He says until he's told otherwise, his team will be focused on playing football in the fall in front of fans at Williams-Brice Stadium. South Carolina is set to open up the season September 5th at home against Coastal Carolina. The Lady Gamecock softball team closed their 2020 season ranked. For the 4th straight year, South Carolina softball closed their season in the top 25 polls. With a 17-6 record following the conclusion of the shortened season, Carolina finished at number 15 in the NFCA coaches poll and tied number 15 in the ESPN softball rankings. South Carolina opened the 2020 season at number 19 in the NFCA coaches poll. This marks the first time since 2001 Carolina opened and closed back-to-back seasons ranked, while the 4 straight years also having appeared in the final coaches poll of the season. This is the longest streak in program history, dating back to 1995 when the NFCA coaches poll started. The team's last game for 2020 was a 2-0 victory at home over Winthrop. And while I'm here at my high school baseball field, let's wrap up some news on the Diamond. The MLB's 2020 draft changes will have long-term effects. With no games being played means no revenue, the MLB decided to make cuts to the draft to ease their anticipated cash flow problems. The draft can still be held on the original start date as of now, June 10th, but could be also pushed back as late as July 20th. The signing deadline will be no later than August 1st. The MLB can now cut the draft from 40 rounds as few as 5. Players will receive $100,000 up front, but the rest of their signing bonus will be paid in 2 equal installments on July 1st each of the next 2 years. Undrafted free agents will have their bonuses capped at $20,000, when previously they could receive up to $125,000 before counting against their team's bonus pool. Although this could affect mid-range draft prospects among minor leaguers, it might give colleges the upper hand this coming year with some overwhelming talent. As we get more information, we'll keep you updated, but that's all I have today for sports. Thanks, Mercy. Back to you.
Thanks, Leanna. When the humans are away, the kittens and puppies will play. The Atlanta Humane Society has been taking its youngest pups and kittens to the Georgia Aquarium for some adventure. They enjoyed looking at the colorful fish as they swam by and running around the empty aquarium. That's all we have for you on today's FastCast. Thanks for watching and continue to stay safe.